Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Recently, my son fell in love with a kale salad kit that he brought from the supermarket. He has been eating it for the last several weeks, but he seems to be getting tired of it. So he has one bag left in the refrigerator that he has not been eating it for the past week. I hate to see it go to waste, so I decided that I'm going to use it to make a fried rice. So okay, let's get into the kitchen and see what we could do with it. So right here is 8 ounces of ground pork. I separate them and freeze them in this portion after I got them back from the supermarket. I'm adding the ground pork to the fried rice for the sake of my son. He still like to have meat in all his dishes. If it is up to me, I probably will skip the ground pork. If you enjoy pork sausages, you probably would like ground pork in this dish. They fry up much nicer than ground beef, and they crisp up and give a very nice texture. I'm going to flavor them with soy sauce, starting out by using some light soy sauce. You can also use ground pork sausages, but I prefer the plain ground pork so I can season it the way I like it. And then to give it some color, I'm also going to add some dark soy sauce. You probably already figured out why I want to cook the ground pork first. Of course, it takes a bit longer to cook them, but most importantly is that I can char them in such a way to give them that special flavor. Next, I'm going to add 3 cups of white rice. These are long grain rice. As you can see, the rice look very hard because they have been sitting in the refrigerator for several days. And in fact, you want your rice look like this. Otherwise, the rice, if it is too wet, it's going to stick to the bottom of the wok. I would like to give you a little tip of how to break up this rice. I use something called a hamburger meat chopper that frequently used for break up hamburger meat. Say, for example, when you are making a chili. I discovered that this is a must-have tool when you make fried rice. Otherwise, if you try to break it with a wok spatula, you're going to have them all over on your kitchen floor, as I have done in the past. Once I have separated the rice into small chunks, I'm switched to the wok spatula to break them up even further. You will continue to stir your rice, and by the end of this cooking process, you will find your rice should be in very much individual kernels. Now you notice that the next step is that I push all the rice onto the side of the wok, and I leave a space in the middle of the wok. And then I'm going to put a little bit of oil in it because I'm going to fry an egg in the center of the wok. Actually, for this fried rice dish, I'm going to add 3 eggs. Now the number of eggs that I decide to add is based on the fact that I consider this rice dish is going to be my main meal. So I won't have enough protein in the dish. That's why I add more egg than I would normally if I'm going to use as a side dish. I use this method most of the time for the sake of convenience because then I don't have to break the egg into a separate bowl and beat them up. Instead, I can just directly drop it into the middle of the wok. And I'm now using the center of the wok as a small frying pan. After I fry the egg for a certain amount of time, then I stir it in with the rice. At this point, I will use the wok spatula, as you see in here, to scrape the bottom of the wok, make sure nothing stuck. And next, I add the mixed vegetable mix to the wok. In addition to kale, it contains other vegetables which include broccoli, Brussels sprout, green cabbage, and an Italian vegetable known as radicchio. The vegetable mix in this salad actually turned out to be perfect for stir fry because they are denser in texture, so they would not melt away as in the case of lettuce or spinach. For this reason, I know they would turn out really well in the fried rice. I also have used something similar, such as broccoli and cauliflower to make fried rice for the same reason. Now I did a quick taste test and it tastes pretty good. I decided I'm going to season this fried rice first of all with some oyster sauce. My son loves things that are salty, so I'm going to make sure that I add enough salt to this dish. And then I want to give it a bit of sweetness, so I add a little bit of hoisin sauce as well. Being very honest, I don't like food with a heavy sauce. I rather to taste the natural flavor of the ingredients. But since my son is eating this, I will abide to his wishes. After doing another taste test, I realized that I will add some more soy sauce to make the fried rice even a little bit more saltier for his preference. I think another reason I start to stay away from salt is because as I'm getting old, I'm worried about high blood pressure. Okay, let me do one more taste test. This is part of my flavor chasing strategy to look for the flavor that I think will be just right. Well, as you can see, I decided I probably need a touch more hoisin sauce to give it a little bit more sweetness to the fried rice. After seeing how well the vegetables are incorporated into the fried rice, I decided it could use some more, and besides I have some left anyway, so I add a little bit more to the fried rice. As you can see here, I am constantly making adjustment. This is really the basis of 10 place-based cooking. You don't follow any particular recipes. So at the end, I look at my bowl, I still have a touch of those vegetables left. I said, well, what the heck, I'm going to throw them all in there. So altogether, I put in almost 1 pound worth of vegetables. In fact, I was pretty proud of myself that I was able to make use of these vegetables. Otherwise, seeing that they might go to waste since my son was not around to finish them off. In fact, I'm glad that I tried this because after making the fried rice, I realized that this vegetable salad mix actually is perfect for making fried rice. In fact, I'm very glad that I have tried this. I think I'm going to do this again in the future. And so with a few more stir, the rice is done, and I transferred it onto a serving plate. Now, actually, that's quite a large portion of fried rice. It's not only enough for my wife and I to have it as a dinner, but it's also enough for me to set aside that my son can have it later on when he comes back. And let's take a look at nutritionally how this fried rice stacks up. Now, this fried rice has approximately about 1,600 calories. 8 ounces of ground pork contribute significant amount of energy, of a total about 600 calories. With 3 cups of rice, each cup is about 200 calories for a total of 600 calories. Each egg has about 70 calories for a total of 210 calories. As you would expect, the vegetable salad do not contribute to many calories. In fact, for a total of 14 ounces of vegetables, the calorie is only about 240. So here is the outcome of the dish. As you can see, is that the total calorie is almost about 1,600, and it divides among 3 of us, so we each consume a little bit over 500 calories. So let me do a what-if situation. If you're going to skip the ground pork, as you can tell right here, it will drop the calorie to about 1,000 calories. Say, for example, you really like eggs and you want to have sufficient protein in this dish. You can increase the egg number from 3 eggs to 6 eggs. That would pick the total calorie count right around 1,200. On the other hand, you can do something in between by keeping 4 ounces of ground pork and reduce the number of eggs. So ultimately, you will balance between the nutritional value versus your taste preference in making the combination that will work best. As I have mentioned earlier, I cooked this dish with ground pork in it, specifically to match my son's taste preference. Somehow when my son tasted the dish, he did not like it very much at all, even though my wife and I love it. He seems just doesn't like the idea to have the salad to be included in the fried rice. He actually did not finish the fried rice that I left for him, but don't worry, our kiddies actually enjoyed it very much. So I guess you win some and lose some. However, this dish demonstrates the example of use my fast cooking system, which includes flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking that will allow you to make modifications and adjustments to a dish in many different ways. So ultimately, when we eat, as well as when we cook, we always try to balance our taste preference as well as the nutritional requirements. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.